Why did mankind lose their tails? Junpei, do you know what this one's about?
Why are you asking me? I didn't even know we had tails to lose. Maybe you should ask a human with a tail. Mankind's ancestors most likely lost their tails as they were no longer useful and the nutrients required to grow them were better put to use elsewhere. At least that's what I read. I was rather young, I may have remembered it incorrectly.
Huh? Why the hell would a kid be reading a book like that?
Micrographia, huh? Ah yes, Robert Hooke's famous work, first published in 1665. He built a microscope and examined insects, inorganic substances, and other things too small to be seen in detail by human eyes. He then drew pictures of the many things he examined and published them in a book. I'd hazard a guess that his shelf is concerned with natural sciences.
Steak is driving me bananas.
Why?
He does not need to know so much about everything.
I don't know, I wish I did.
Uh,
Creatures of the South Seas, huh? Wonder if this one's got picture colorful fish and stuff.
yeah, good, Snake. Don't contribute about that one.
He doesn't know anything about that.
I'm like, ocean biology too?
Introduction to geology, huh? Thinking about the Earth even when you're on the ocean. Kinda romantic in a way, I guess.
No! Can't talk about the ocean. That's where we draw the line. This one says transition of extinct species.
Need to hurry it up or we're gonna end up in the pages of a book like that.
That's not how this works, Snake. Paleontology. This one's about fossils, right? Ammonites are pretty nasty looking.
I think they look pretty
I
cool.
kind of like ammonites. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Mother Nature.
Is that some sort of book about hippie chicks?
Probably not, except perhaps tangentially. It's more likely about environmental protection.
I was just trying to make a joke.
Dude, hippie chicks? Really?
I'd read a book about hippie chicks called Mother Nature. It'd be funny. The theory of evolution. Heck, even I know this one. It's Darwin guy, right?
Yes and no. Charles Darwin wrote a book called On the Origin of the Species. In it, he put forth his theory of evolution. Yeah, I remember that part. He called it natural selection. Exactly.
Theories of the Cambrian explosion? Did a bomb go off somewhere, near somewhere called Cambria?
Wrong kind of explosion. Roughly 500 million years ago, during what is known as the Cambrian period, research suggests that the variety of living organisms increased by an order of magnitude. Why that happened is, however, still something of a mystery. There are a number of theories. This book is most likely a collection of them. I mean, I know what the Cambrian explosion is. That's... no, that's...
Energy theory, huh? I don't even understand the damn title. Well, it just shows all science and technology. Are the property values going up in space too these days? I guess times are tough for aliens too. This one says cosmic inflation.
Supersymmetric string theory and 10-dimensional space-time. Just talking about superstring theory. It's a theory of reality where... how to explain? It says that all elements of the universe are governed by the vibration and harmonics of tiny supersymmetric strings.
No, too much. Too much.
What's this? An overview of conformal field theory. Well, it's a theory that posits an invariant quantum field where conformal transformations can take place.
Nope. Knock it off with the science voodoo stuff. Try to put me to sleep. 7. He's trying to give me a migraine. That's what he's doing.
Theory of general relativity, huh?
Oh, I know this one. That's Einstein, right? Quantum gravity. 7, do you have any idea what this is? How about you start using real words? Then maybe we'll get somewhere.
Yep.
See, like big words don't put me to sleep. They give me headaches because my brain wants to understand them.
I don't know. I was pretty proud that I managed to just like say that all. Okay, do anything here?
You can check those. I wrote them down already though, just in case.
What's the deal with these titles?
They're all just gibberish. Hey, what if we like switch them around? Switch them around? Yeah. If we move them around, maybe they'll spell something.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, heck, it's worth a shot. Okay, how should I move them? How should I move?
The blue one, the dark blue one on the right, all the way to the beginning. Then the purple to the end. That's it.
How about this? Looks like putting those books in the right order opened this thing right up. Heh, that was a piece of cake.
Truly. Hooray! You did it, Junpei!
Well, I guess that turned out well enough.
So the letters from the title spell out, open here, find bulb. I thought she was going to be like, oh, for book. The light bulb looks like it's brand new. And it's really big, so it'll make a lot of light.
Okay. I think that's everything in this spot, so now where?
Go left.
Okay, we've done those ones. This side we haven't done. Automated robotic assembly line techniques. Huh.
Give me a
Clover.
sec. Give me a sec.
Something wrong?
I just gotta reply to this text message real quick. Okay. What's that? Some sort of comic book? Jeez, I guess boys really like that stuff, huh?
No, you're thinking of a different sort of robot. This book is talking about automated machinery that's used to build things, like cars.
What's that one called?
It says Foundations of DNA and Genetic Engineering. An overview of photochemistry?
I think whoever set this up wanted us to see the cover, not the spine. Let's look at it, okay?
Huh, looks like there's a whole lot of space behind these books.
Look, Junpei. I think there's something hidden behind the book. It's a brand new bulb.
Well, it's 7, but...
A brand new bulb. That's pretty high wattage one, too.
Communication and computer science, huh? That's a pretty generic title. To be honest, it's so vague I don't even know what it might be about. Okay, now what? Now what?
Go left. Go down.
Is this...
Oh, look, Seven. Here's a book that's perfect for you. It's called Correlation of Muscle, Bone Density, and Bone Strength. You say that because it says muscle.
Principles of monkey behavior, huh? And imagine it's a book describing praxeology studies on monkeys. Monkeys are very similar to humans evolutionarily, so I imagine the research was fruitful. This book is just called Dissection. The bookshelf must be all medical books. From what I can tell, it sounds as though these books have been organized by genre. This library must be massive. I'm rather impressed by how well organized it is. Human equilibrium theory.
Human anatomy. Regeneration of internal organs? This one, it looks just like that picture book from earlier, the one with the pop-ups. You think they're part of a series or something? They do have the same binding. Fundamentals of baseball.
There's a bait. Oh.
There's a baseball on this one. I gotta turn the light off. Give me a second.
No.
Come on, Jupe. Let's see what's in it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's probably baseball stuff. Whoa! Wait while he turns the light on.
So,
Oh, hey there, Shady. Yeah, head.
No head?
Shady says head. Shady says head.
This is a pop-up book. It's got the letters H-E-A-D popping out of it.
Functions of the human brain, huh? Guess this is a book about the nervous system? I'd love to ask you to read it for me, but I don't think we have the time.
I'm kind of curious about it too. There's got to be a reason why people connect with each other, you know?
Dissection Atlas, huh? This whole shelf is full of medical books.
Look, this one's called Recreation of Lost Human Functions. I think they're talking about if you lose a part of your body, that you could grow it back.
I don't think so. Maybe they're talking about reconstructing abilities that humankind once possessed. In other words, they may be talking about cultivating a sixth sense. Ancient Gladiators, what's this book doing here? Maybe they're researching human physical limits across the history. Nope, big opening in the door of the library. It's pretty impressive, almost like the door of a shrine or church or something. There's another door after and then a passageway beyond that. At the end, there's a passageway with a door with the Neptune symbol engraved on it. Hurry up, we need to find the key to the mark of Neptune.
Okay. Sounds like a job for the best brother and sister team in the world.
Man, it's like 7 and I don't even exist. I think this is the last shelf. History of Buddhism.
Huh.
What?
Why did Seven react that way?
Huh.
That was the only thing they had to say about the history of Buddhism? Just Seven be like,
Do you have a lot to say about the history of Buddhism?
I mean, they had a lot to say about everything else. Look,
No,
this
there's plenty they didn't.
Cultural heritage of Rome. But that's gonna be some serious inheritance tax. That's not me, though. It's spelled different. Permian creatures? Seems like a fancy for someone. She's a little fancy for some kind of prehistoric critter. Not to mention, most of them were likely reptiles and amphibians. Without hair, I can't imagine they have much need for perms.
It's got nothing to do with this.
Do you think I should get a perm?
Yes.
Next dream, I'll be permed up.
Perm
What?
every hair on your body.
No! Too much chemical. What's Hellenism?
I think it's something like a fusion of Greek and Oriental culture.
Hey, it's another one of those kids' picture books. Looks like a lot like the other one we found. This one has some Native Americans on the cover. Hey, Jupe, take a look at this one.
Native Americans, huh? Maybe it's got some... Whoa!
Lick. Lilk.
Like it... Oh, let's see.
Lilk. This is one of them pop-up books, right?
Ah, frickin' controller.
Lilk. It's got the letters L-R-K and K popping out of it. Can't make sense of them, though. Where's the R? Large, round, and kinky? Nah, probably not.
I don't know where the R is.
Yeah, that's not an R. That's Lilk. That's Lilk. Where's the R?
I don't know.
Am I supposed to take it as LRK or should I take it as LILK?
I don't know. Ask 7.
This puzzle. Okay, whatever. History of the medieval period. Maybe it's about Sir Lancelot?
Isn't he just a story? I don't think you're gonna find a guy who didn't really exist in a history book.
Oriental history. Ooh, maybe this one's about China's 4,000 year of history or something.
Hey, Chinese history and Oriental history aren't the same thing. This one's called History of the Western World.
Well, I'd assume.
Well, let's assume it's about European history. Yeah. Just gonna leave it at that. Snake, doesn't seem like you. Hey, look at this. This book's called Greek Mythology.
Snake heard me roast him. Damn, this thing's huge. Can't imagine anyone will actually read the whole thing.
I'd read the whole thing.
I would read the whole
Greek
thing.
mythology is fascinating.
7. We disagree on that one thing in this entire room. Just that one thing. Pretty sure it put me to sleep.
Yeah, that should be everything.
Like, I took one of those, like, aptitude tests when I was a little kid.
Oh, it's not. Oh, wait. Yeah, and?
One of my top results was to be a priest. But I think ultimately what that means is that I'm just, like, really into theology. That's all I was going to say.
That's very priestly of you.
Listen, I just like the history of religion. It's not my fault.
The black hole hypothesis, gamma ray astrophysics. Guess this bookshelf has an astronomy theme.
Astronomy.
This one has books about religion, like A History of Buddhism. Wait, oh, we read this one, right?
I was going to say, more books?
Energy theory, development of nanotechnology materials, interaction between shortwave energy and matter. What else have we got?
Oh, God, I'm Clover. In all levels except physical, I am Clover. Just listening to you read those titles is giving me a headache. Kids say fancy technology stuff and I get along real well. Keep on talking about this stuff or you're going to put me to sleep.
Okay, I think that's everything.
Oh, please let it be. Ugh.
So now what?
Go down.
I just felt like 3 seems like a weird number of pop-up books, but... What?
It's almost like there's 3 places to put those pop-up books, right? Isn't that the whole point?
Oh, where are we going?
In that place right there in the center.
Okay.
Put the books.
Where?
I don't know. Left.
Small enclosure with 9 sides. There are 3 of these things looking interesting. Okay, how about we try putting these picture books in the stands? Then...
This is a little weird. So yeah, I didn't even have to think about it. Can you turn those on? Can you... The lamps? Yeah.
The 3 lights in this thing. We can replace the bulbs.
Replace the bulbs.
Alright, so 3 lights in here. I'm gonna change these bulbs. Now they should...
Awesome! It worked! Way to go, Pig. Oh, I can't even I didn't even write anything. Like, none of these are actual human letters. Good job, buddy. There's something projecting on the bottom. These letters, they seem familiar. Shelled Rake 5.
Okay. Now what?
Go back to Sheldrake 5.
This? Yeah. The Sheldrake in the spine's book. A volume number written in the lower part of the spine. I can't click.
You can't click. What? That's the solution.
Maybe we had to actually click the words?
I guess so.
Sheldrake 5?
I think I saw the rest of this collection somewhere. Yeah, I think it was somewhere around here. Let's go take a look. Okay. It's like this
Sheldrake.
kind of puzzle.
Have you heard of him? Sheldrake, I mean. No, we need this conversation as a thing for story.
Sure. But I'm saying like this kind of puzzle I don't like very much. It's the same as is it the second gym in black and white where it's Lenora, like
I don't
the
remember much about
museum?
Black and White.
It's in the museum.
Okay.
And like you have to like go to specific books on the bookshelves based on the question that the trainer previously tells you about. Like that's not like I don't like that puzzle because I could just be like, move out of the way. I'm gonna check every book in whatever order I want. And it's like, oh, here's the door because like that's the puzzles literally are like, oh, you flip to the end page of the book. Oh, you found the solution. Here's the next part of the puzzle, and it's like, what is stopping me other than just you arbitrarily stopping me from just knowing the solution? But you could say that about any puzzle, I guess. So maybe I'm just like,
Maybe if you pick up the wrong book, it blows up.
yeah, like there should be some sort of like thing, I would have accepted that, right? Like
Well,
if you
maybe
pick up
that's the true. You don't know.
like if you pick up the wrong book, the trainer would fight you
But
because
you
it's like
know
you,
that's
because
not a
you
good
always
that's not a good punishment in Pokemon games though, because you want the experience. Like they even in Fantina's gym in Gen 4, which is all math questions, you get the question if you go into the wrong answered rooms and fight a trainer, they're just like, "Oh, you got that question wrong on purpose so you could fight me, didn't you?" And
like
like
it doesn't.
that's the I don't like that type of puzzle in Pokemon because I feel like, well, what's the benefit in being right about it? You want trainer
Yeah,
battles usually.
like I like the version of this puzzle in the Sword and Shield in the fairy type gym, where like if you answered the questions right, you got a stat buff. Like I like that because there's
I get
stakes,
that. That's fair. Yeah.
you know. Either way, go ahead.
Have you heard of him, Sheldrake? I mean, yeah, Lotus told me about him.
Oh my gosh, it's this guy. It's this guy.
You forgot about him.
I didn't forget about him.
And
I
you
mean,
forgot his name.
I forgot his name, but I'm like, ugh. I remember roasting Lotus for just bringing up this random information.
Little did you
Ugh,
know that entire game is bringing up random information.
this is bull. I hate it. Inheritance hated that.
Okay, but Lotus,
Oh,
this is your line.
there's a British biochemist named Sheldrake. He had a rather interesting theory. Morphogenetic fields, which rely on the theory of morphic resonance.
Really, from Lotus, huh? Well, Clover also said something to me about that stuff. She did. Yeah, what was it?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, the other is danger.
That girl. Told her not to tell anyone. You did? Why? Well, look, man, I didn't push it because we were in a hurry, but I'm kind of sick of this. How about you just tell me, okay? Tell you what. Don't give me that. About the experiment. Very well, fine. I'll tell you everything. But not here. Let's move to the top floor.
Let's arbitrarily go up a flight of steps.
I suppose I might as well start by telling you why I kept quiet and why I made sure Clover did as well. To be honest, the explanation is quite simple. Zero told me not to. I had little choice. He didn't walk up and tell me, of course. He gave me a message engraved on a card. That's a Braille card. Looks just like the one he showed us earlier. So you had two cards. No, only one. Huh? What do you mean? I thought that card said some rules for the Nonary game on it. Yes, it did. And those were the rules I read you. However, they were not the only thing on the card. There was something I didn't read. Well, perhaps I should say there was something I couldn't read. And that was? Tell no one of the events that took place 9 years ago. Tell and I activate your sister's detonator. It's a threat on our lives. Oh. Well, what about Clover? Did she get a message from Zero too? I don't believe she did. But doesn't it strike you strange that Zero would shut my mouth, but not hers? Yeah. To be on the safe side, however, I told her it was best not to tell anyone. Still, apparently she told you. That girl. What's wrong with her telling me? I figured some stuff out with the things she told me. I mean, it looks like the whole activator detonator thing was just a bluff. She's prancing about downstairs, happy as a clam now that you're back.
Boom!
It's very true. I've decided I can trust you. I've decided to tell you the truth. The chance that Santa is Zero is very high. I feel I can assume Santa doesn't have the time to observe us at the moment. At any rate, even if he were, I very much doubt he would kill us. Why? Clover told me about the four-leaf clover, about the words. If he knew about that, then he was in my group during the first experiment, I'm sure of it. He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was. Hey, Snake. Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment? Yeah. How much do you know? Clover told me about...
Wah, 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 wah.
I see. The morphogenetic field in the experiments 9 years prior, how the experiment had taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada. And the girl that died during the experiment. She told you all that, did she? At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us to determine is who did this and why, right? Yes. Can you tell me what happened? Yes. The people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals. There are 4 of them running the show. Jintaro Hangao,
Ace.
Nagisa Nijisaki, Terauki Kabuto,
Joker, Queen.
Kajichika Musashidao.
That's Bishop.
Hangao was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Nijisaki was his right-hand man and did the lion's share of the planning. Kabuto led the company's research and development division.
Oh, wait!
Musashida was a major stockholder. What?
Oh, hey!
What?
So, it's Ace, the dude, there's the 9th man, there's the guy that Ace killed, and then that's the captain. Can't get that past me.
It was
Can't
those
get
4
that past
people
me,
who
you-
planned the initial experiment.
I'm too good at this game.
I'm not gonna say confirm or deny anything.
I'm too good at this game. You can't hide half of their faces and expect me not to know this game.
Let me simplify it for you. Hangao designed it,
Marxist.
and Nijisiki put it all together. Kabuto developed the technology required, and Musashida provided the cash.
It's my favorite Pokemon.
So it's Hangao, Nijisaki, Kabuto, and Musashida. Of course, more than 4 people are required to conduct an experiment of this scale. To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research. All in all, they gathered 10 people or so. Those 10 completed their team and were able to begin the project. They named it the Nonary Project.
To be honest, we're not even supposed to know what the guy in Snake's clothing looked like. Like, that was all in imaginative world. Like, how did we get an accurate representation of that guy?
Why are you assuming that's an accurate representation?
That was him. That was him.
Why are you assuming it's not intentionally misleading?
Chad JV, if that's your real name.
That is
was
my birth
him.
name.
Chad JV is my father.
I am your father. The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will. The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field. Why did the glycerins suddenly begin to crystallize? Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo a sudden change? Why did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation? I'm making references to things that you saw only in other timelines. Experiments with humans produced the same results. The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more there were who could answer correctly without having seen the problem before. Why is that? How could it happen? The answer is that the shape of the answer had been stored in a field invisible to the naked eye. And through that field, the resident event transmits information related to that answer. That's essentially the idea behind morphogenetic fields. But that's just a theory. Can't bring yourself to believe it. Yeah. Let's say someone killed another person because the devil told them to do it. Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murderer. They believe the devil exists. Whether or not he does is immaterial. So what matters here is that Hungao believed in the morphogenetic field. That's right. But I still don't get it. He said they wanted to figure out how to control people. Right? That is what you were saying? Yes. So how are they going to do that with a morphogenetic field? I'll keep it simple. Let's suppose 10,000 people have solved a certain problem. The chance of you knowing that answer, even if no one has told you, will go up. Let's have another example, shall we? Say 1 million people were told to do a handstand right now. Tomorrow, the chances of you doing a handstand would be higher, even if you had heard nothing of this hypothetical mass handstanding. Mankind's thought process and actions are all part of a resonant event. All the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, this assumes you believe in this theory. Do you follow so far? Yeah. Now, if there was a person who had the same effect as those millions of people, what would happen? If that one person were to do a handstand, other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well. Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do? Lots of handstands.
Inexplicable urge to handstand.
I would get, if that was me, I would get so good at handstanding that I'd like handstand every given moment just to screw the whole world.
That would be a pretty fun superpower.
People would be driving their cars and then suddenly have such a strong urge to handstand that they just do that, try to do it in their car.
Well, I mean,
Pilots.
I'm saying, like, even if it's not like dystopian like that, like just like
I'd
the
make it
superpower.
dystopian.
Like I would love having a superpower that it's like anything I did, people would be inexplicably compelled to do it. They didn't have to, but like it's just like when you have like an itch at the top of your nose and you're like, oh, I really want to scratch it, but I don't know why. Like that, It's like, oh, I want to yawn, but like I'm not tired. It's just see, you just scratch the tip of your nose. I did it. Everybody in the chat, you probably scratch your nose too. If you scratched your nose when I said that, like and subscribe, leave a text message thread, send a message to my pager. I forgot what my lines were, but let us know because that means I have a superpower.
Come on, there's no way. I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person. This is an ordinary person. Let's say he does a handstand. What if there was someone who could grab the resident event he created doing that and use it to make other people do handstands? What would happen then? A person who has the power to write to the field and someone who can read from the same. You could think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver.
This is getting confusing.
What would the world be like if there were people with abilities like these? So the transmitter's resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver. And then the transmitter can control the receiver however they wish. That's what you're saying, right? Yes, close enough at least. Come on, that's just crazy. Well, if you want to prove that, then you have to test it first. At least that was how they thought. That was why they decided to do their experiment. That was how the Nonary project began. By the way, Junpei, have you ever heard of the Gansfield experiment?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an experiment in telepathy, right? You place a pair of subjects in separate rooms. Then you show one a picture and ask the other what they see. Interesting, I'm impressed. Yes, that is exactly correct. So, why did you bring up the Gansfield experiment? It was used to screen subjects for the Nonary project. The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Kratos Pharmaceuticals. Hungao used it to conduct experiments on visiting children in secret. Some of them, he found, had potential. He began to gather children that showed promise, children that seemed as though they may be able to access the field. Of course, none of them volunteered. They were kidnapped. There were 9 pairs of siblings taken, for 18 children total. For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had one transmitter and one receiver. They were split perfectly. As such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9. The children were put in Group Q, were the ones who excelled at transmitting. They were transferred to the mock experiment building known as Building Q in the Nevada desert. The children expelled at receiving were put in Group A. Group A was then placed on the former hospital ship Gigantic. From the experiments he has conducted so far, Hungao had learned the following. There are 2 things that can increase one's resonance with the fields. The first is epiphany, the other is danger. Have you ever been faced with an especially difficult problem, thought about it very long and very hard until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind? It may seem obvious to say so, but that is what is meant by epiphany. The information obtained through the epiphany can easily be transmitted through the fields, where it can be easily interpreted. Adding danger to that equation allows for even easier field access. That's where Hungao came in. They set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to solve each one before they could move to the next room. Of course, he hadn't forgotten to include danger. He had detonated a bomb in the hull of the Gigantic. The children in Group A were forced to play the nonary game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life or death situation, Hungao hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into the fields. The children from Group Q, on the other hand, were confined to the mock experiment building, Building Q. Building Q duplicated the interior and puzzles of the Gigantic exactly. Every detail was exactly the same. Hungao explained the situation to the children in Group Q. Solve the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you have the answers, transmit that information to the children in Group A. If you succeed, you'll be able to solve the puzzles and escape. But if you fail, then the Gigantic will sink and your brothers and sisters will drown. Those were his orders. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely? It was because NASA had access to a replica of the Apollo 13 capsule. All the equipment, the instruments, everything, all of it identical. Everything was just like the real Apollo 13. NASA was able to replicate the situation that astronauts found themselves in. By putting themselves in the same situation, they attempted to solve the problems the astronauts were dealing with. Once they found solutions, they reported their findings to the men aboard the actual capsule. That was how they were able to return safely. It was the same with the Gigantic in Building Q. The children from Group Q had to use the power of epiphany to solve the puzzles they found, and transmit what they learned through the fields. The children in Group A, however, they had to access the fields to learn how they might advance to the next stage. That is the simplest explanation I can manage.
Hey, Junpei Snake, how much longer are you two gonna sit around on those bony butts? Get down here already.
He's right. Let's go, shall we? We don't have much time. We need to get out of here and soon. Hold it. There's one more thing I want to ask you. Are you sure there were 18 kids? Why? Well, I thought it was only 16. Oh, yes. That was what they said on the news, wasn't it? Yes, I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hungao's experiment. After all, you couldn't exactly play a nonary game with any less, could you? Well, yeah, but... Are you saying the news got it wrong? Yes, I am. There were 2 more children. However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of. I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing. They were brother and sister like Clover and I. The brother's name was Aoi. The sister's name was... Her name was Akane. That was the girl who died.
Ugh.
Akane Kurashiki died?
Why are you
9 years
saying
ago?
that her last name's Kurashiki?
Then who is June? No. That's impossible. Can't be true.
Like, have we established that
Akane isn't that uncommon of a name.
I was gonna say, it literally could be any other Akane. Like, it's not...
If Snake had known her last name, well, that's a different matter entirely. So they share a name. A lot of people do. It doesn't mean anything. It was someone else. Of course it was. It has to be.
Well, knowing this game, though, it's absolutely cannot be. So, how is Akane alive when she died?
There's something wrong, Junpei. Your breathing sounds strange.
People die when they're killed.
Not always.
Apparently, not according to this game.
No, it's nothing. I'm fine. Let's get back down there, alright? I couldn't do it. Why didn't I ask? What's your last name? I just couldn't get the words to come out. Okay. Now what?
Let's go. Sheldrake 5. It's been so long. I thought we already did that.
Sheldrake, this is it. This is where the shadow picture was pointing to.
But didn't it say 5 at the end of the shadow picture?
Yes, I think we need to find the 5th volume.
Oh, I wonder which one it is. Ugh.
Oh, would you look at that? There's a big red button behind this book.
Oh.
Guess we should press this button.
That's what I'm saying. You could have solved this puzzle by just picking up the books.
They didn't
Which you
think
would
of
have
that.
done. Which you would have done, because they picked up all the other books and read their titles, opened them up, saw their content. Why couldn't you do that with those books on the corner?
Maybe they did with a few of them, and they were like, wow, what's the point of doing every one? There's nothing back here. There's so many books in the bookshelves, they can't do that with every book in the entire room.
It's so easy for them to literally just grab all the books and shift them to the other side of the bookshelf. They're not even tight.
Clover?
There's so much room. What was that sound? It sounded like something really big was moving. It came from the top floor.
Alright, let's go check it out. Top floor?
It drives me cuckoo bananas. Let's go. You did it. Oh, wait.
There's a keyboard in front of the numbers, and there are 4 Roman numerals on the wall. It's got to be a hint of some sort.
E.
Xi, Xiv, X, and Xi. That's how you say this.
Listen, I've played enough Final Fantasy games to know which ones we're looking at.
Those are all Roman numerals.
Do you think we just need to put the numbers from the wall on the keyboard? No, you can't. Keyboard doesn't have any number keys. You can't type in stuff like 3 or 4.
How does that not have number keys? Those are definitely where the number keys are.
Yeah, the numbers are all like at the top. Like that's a QWERTY keyboard,
That
and
means...
there is room for numbers on there. Go. Well, I bet you gotta type something on the keyboard.
Yeah, but you can only enter letters.
And it looks like you can only enter 4 letters. I wonder if the Roman numerals have Roman numerals.
I guess you need to hit enter once you type in letters. You can erase what you type with clear. Okay, I get the basic operations. Let's give it a shot.
Cooler. You're gonna be doing. Give me a second.
Remember, it's 4 letters.
I know. Okay, so there's a couple ways we can look at this. We can find their digital roots, because this game's all about digital roots, right?
Well, that would still be numbers.
And then we can translate the digital root back into Greek numbers. What are you talking about? Roman numerals. Also, there's numbers literally right up top, but they're hidden by the
no
GUI.
Numbers.
The GUI. Their numbers are there. It would have been such an easy fix for them to just delete that part of the JPEG.
Nope, there's no numbers.
No numbers. There's no numbers.
Okay.
Ugh.
What are we putting in? Come on, we have a lot to
upsetting.
do still, and it's...
Well, I don't know how to solve the problem yet. Like, I'm trying to process it. Like, because that's what I'm thinking. I can get their digital root and then do new Roman numerals. But the issue is that the Roman numerals aren't just 4 letters, because the digital roots would be 4, 5, 1, and 4. And that doesn't... 4 in Roman numerals is IV. So do I have to like do the digital root of IV? Which would then be 5, but then that would be VVIV. Try VVIV.
VVIV?
Yeah. Yeah, so like I don't...
Do you want any help?
I guess so.
What the heck are they called? Hexadecimal.
I don't know hexadecimal. You count up to 9 and then it starts being letters. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
9 A B C D E F. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so it's gonna be E. Wait. No. It's gonna be D E A D. Yay! You did it, Junpei! It's unlocked now.
Good job, Junpei.
Whoa there, don't get too excited. Password's dead, remember? Just makes me think whatever's waiting for us isn't good. So what? Geez, you're such an old lady. You can't be worrying about stuff like that. I mean, come on, we got it unlocked, didn't we? Let's go, hurry up.
Alright, let's get this thing open.
You found it.
You found it.
Alright, this is the next.
The door.
Did that just close on its own? Don't tell me we can't go back.
I don't know, let's see. Damn it. Looks like it locks automatically. Is there any other way out? Well, there's another door on the right. There's a card reader next to it. It's got a red light on it though, so I'm pretty sure it's locked too. But there is a card reader, right? Yeah. Well, then perhaps if we find a key card, we could open the door and leave. Well, yeah, that might work, but...
Hey, wait a minute. Are you saying we gotta search through this room for one little card? Oh, man.
Looks that way.
No way. For real?
Well, we can sit down and wait to die if that's what you'd prefer.
For real?
I rather doubt that, however, so it would be wise to start looking. We haven't much time. Let's find that key card. Oh, and the Neptune key as well. We won't be able to get through the hallway without it. Alright then, let's begin. Seek a way out!